Well, thanks for tuning in to this video, which is a short video, 8-9 minutes. We're going to go over the business owner's Viewpoint tool, which is going to help business owners who are doing very well in their business stay out of future problems and financial problems and identify the direction they're going. Back in 1971, my father died. He was 51 years old. He owned a business, a very profitable business. Within 3 years, his business was sold for pennies on the dollar. And with that, I saw my mother, widowed at 49 with 5 kids, having to sell her home because my father did no planning. He had very little life insurance, I think $5,000. And I saw my mother leave the neighborhood where she loved cooking for the kids. And if you know Italian moms, they love to cook for kids. So I saw her drained of her passion. But I learned something from it. I learned a couple of things. I learned that there's something called design plans and the plans by default. And I learned that business owners spend their time in 2 particular areas. One area they spend their time in is the business operations. And this is the area that when you're starting out in business like this, you're trying to survive. It's trying to stabilize your business. But you have to spend the time here because this is your baby. This is what it's all about. This is where the action is. And even as you grow your business, this is where you want to spend your time. But the second part is the financial hub. And that's the details of the business and your state. Because as you're increasing wealth through your business, it's creating business wealth, estate wealth, and wealth created by the business for you to live the standard of life that you're living. I see a lot of business owners, they keep too much money in their business and it becomes a problem. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. This complicates your estate plan as the success continues. Well, the problem is basically that when I look at the current stats today, that only 20% of companies actually sell when they go to market. And that a large percentage of companies don't even have a succession plan, a transition plan. So when that time comes, they're not ready for it. So that means a lesser price, problem selling the company. And there's a lot of failure within 10 years, but it depends on the industry. Anyways, when you look at these situations, you wonder, well, how come if the business is such a valuable piece of property and you spend so much time, why is this happening? And that's that design plan and that plan by default. And I call it the elephant in the room. They're the situations that people don't talk about, but should. Elephants in the room. For an example, if you take a look at these 4 questions, what if you die and became disabled today? What's going to happen to your business? What if you burned out? You just can't have it. Do you have enough money put outside of the business to survive? What if the economy just is terrible and you can't cover things? What if you lost your key people? Those particular things. The other thing I like to ask is what happens when you either died, became disabled, or retired, and you're ready to get out one way or the other. Do you have a plan to extract the equity that you grew in the business? So I put together a lot of these particular questions for business owners to look at. The succession planning. You'd be surprised how many owners don't understand that if they're highly paid, the 401k program that they're in could be a total tax trap in 5 different areas. And we talk about how do you retain these key people to stay at the company so that you have possibly passive ownership, you have someone to run the company, to enjoy what you're building. These are the questions to be asking yourself. Basically, it's really not your fault, though. I came to the conclusion that business owners need more knowledge in these the elephant in the room questions, as I relate to. They don't know, but they should know, but they're not being exposed to it. First of all, a lot's coming out of Washington, so no matter what you did in planning 5 years ago, much of it is going to change and has been changed and might be more harmful than good. Lack of planners. There's people that say they're planners out there, but they have an agenda, and they have the inability to do the planning. They're really not trained well. They're selling product. So when I take a look at most business owners, they will tell me, as I would tell them, I have trusted advisors. My accountant, my attorney, I've been working with for years, and you're probably no different. And I trust them. But here's what I do know. They're not planners. They do what I ask them to do. They put out fires, they do documents, but they are not planners. They don't do what I do. And then when you look at advisors out there, you'll see that you have this problem. But more importantly, they're really not on your agenda. There's something, and the second thing is most of these people never ran a business like I have. Like I've had employees, I ran a business for 50 something years. I know what it's like to run a business, have payroll, do all these things. So I relate to business owners very, very well. A lot of planners don't. They're one-man operations trying to sell a product. So what we did is we put together years ago something called the Business Owners Viewpoint. And it's very simple. It literally takes 2 minutes to complete, and it'll do 3 things. It'll help you understand the key areas that we work in and focus in, and what those key areas are for the elephant in the room questions. We help you understand where you are in that scenario. And we help you formulate questions that are related to the future, so that you're always ahead of the curve. But what it does do, it gives you clarity and simplicity, and it avoids financial problems in the future. But it gives you a sense of always being on top of your game. And the outcomes have been a lot of these areas. So you're always on top of the estate part of it, tax transfers. Your middle management is growing and they're staying with you. You get clarity in what you're doing. Most important for you is that you're able to focus on running your business while these are being updated yearly. We take one at a time and move forward, and we define it through the viewpoint. So here's how it works. We send you a link. You go on to the 2-minute survey right away. Do it in 2 minutes. And again, if it takes you longer than 2 minutes, you're having a bad day. But within 10 days, we send you a report and a video. We want the video because it allows you to sit in your own private space and digest what we're talking about, and then of course you have the report itself. Now, if you find there's no issues that you're concerned about, that's good. We'll keep you up to date by sending you things if you'd like. But however, if there are issues, then we certainly can talk about what would be the process and the procedure that you might want to consider. So thank you for taking the time and going over this. Before I leave, I have a question. How do you know you are doing the right thing financially for your business and yourself personally? And if you were not doing them to the best possible efficiency, when would you want to know it? So complete the survey and we'll help you define those questions. Thanks very much.